My name's Wertheim, and this work is a work by my sister Margaret and I, and we have a small non-profit organisation called the Institute for Figuring, whose aim is to bring ideas from science, maths and engineering to the general public who mostly don't know about these issues, but we need to know. And it's called the Midden, and it grew out of the fact that about a year after we started the Crochet Reef project in 2005, we found out about the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, that patch of garbage collecting in the Pacific Ocean. So we decided that we would start crocheting our plastic, cutting up paper bags and making plant. And secondly, that we would start keeping all of our own plastic and washing it and keeping it. And we decided we'd do it for 5 years just to see how much plastic we used. And after 4.5 years, we had to stop, but I was doing most of the washing and I couldn't stand it anymore because plastic's really hard to wash. So it's 4.5 years of two people's plastic, and it went from 2007 to 2011, and it's 440 pounds in weight. The only thing I would like people to take away on a kind of pedagogical level, if that's what we're talking about here, is to think about how much plastic they use. I personally am not worried about the planet. The planet will survive, whatever we do. We're nothing in comparison to it. What we're doing is we're wiping out each other, ourselves and each other and all the other mammals and possibly even the insects, although some of them will survive. Not only is plastic a problem because it's accumulating in the oceans and breaking down into microparticles, which then get into all the water because they evaporate into clouds and then fall down in rain, and then they get into the grass and the cows and then eventually us. But there are other things. Plastic does something called offgassing, which even if it's in landfills and it's not getting into the water supply, plastic's constantly leaching chemicals into the atmosphere, which we're all breathing all the time because we're surrounded by plastic, in our own homes, in our workplaces. Plastic is a highly toxic substance. I love it. It's a beautiful medium for making art. But it's very toxic. The Crochet Coral Reef project, of which this is, as I said, an offspin, is a worldwide project, and there are two elements. There are reefs that my sister and I crochet and curate, although we also have contributions from many other people, but they're like 30 or 40 people from around the world. And then there are what we call satellite reefs, and so often when we show crochet coral reefs, the people of that city or state or country, depending on the scale that they want to do it, they make their own reefs. So here, the people of North Carolina have made a satellite reef. So I don't know how many contributors they've had, probably a couple of hundred. People have crocheted coral reefs, and then a team of people here at the museum, led by a woman called Angela, have curated them into, like a painting. It's one thing to crochet the corals, but that's like having little daubs of paint. Then you have to turn it into a painting. So somebody has to make the understructure and decide what shape it is and how big it's going to be, and then they have to cover it in the corals and they have to decide where they're going to put each one. So it's like making a three-dimensional painting. It's an honour to be invited into any exhibition. It really is. It's so very hard to have a career as an artist at all. It is an honour to be invited to show anywhere and to have your work seen by other people.